Hey guys, Mr. Happy here and welcome to my guide for Thornmarch Extreme, a new fight in patch 2.2. This fight requires a minimum item level of 80, drops item level 100 necklaces, and can only be unlocked after defeating both Ifrit Extreme and Thornmarch Hard Mode. Ahead of time, I will apologize, there will be some frame dropping here. OBS doesn't like the particle heavy new content, it seems. The fight begins with the main boss, Good King Mogomog XII, in the center of the room. He only has two attacks, Mog Creations, which deals about 1000 to 1500 damage in a line AoE in front of him, and he has a Conal attack in front of him as well. That should only be hitting the tanks. Keep in mind that this Conal attack drains your MP, so healers, you do not want to get hit by it. After about 15 seconds, the Good King will summon his loyal subjects from the hard mode encounter and become invincible to all damage. This group consists of the same enemies it did in the hard mode encounter: a Black Mage, White Mage, Thief, Gladiator, Marauder, Bard, and Archer. Remember, only the Gladiator and the Marauder can be tanked and controlled. The rest of the Moogles just do their own thing. Most of the mechanics are similar to hard mode. The White Mage cures, the Bard sings a damage buffing song, the Thief stabs random people, and the Archer shoots random people. But there are a few things to note in this phase. The first is Palm Flare, which is casted by the Black Mage. It was in hard mode as well. It cannot be stunned or silenced. You must do approximately 1000 to 1200 damage in order to interrupt it, as I do in this video. If you're not comfortable with only one DPS doing it, call out when a Palm Flare is coming and have both of your DPS jump on the Black Mage. Ruffletuft, who is the Marauder, also has a Conal attack that reduces resistance to Mog Dark on whoever is tanking him. We never really noticed this to do anything except for make that same attack hit the tank a little bit harder for the rest of the fight. It didn't really change our approach to it at all. One major mechanic you need to watch out for now is the King, who will constantly do a large AoE buff to any of his nearby subjects that will increase their damage done. This eventually forces a tank swap, since one tank should be holding the Gladiator and the other should be holding the Marauder on the other side of the arena. Not the complete other side, but just far enough away from the King so he doesn't get the buff. We recommend swapping them at 3 stacks. Additionally, if the Thief, Archer, or Bard is in range of the King, you're probably gonna have to move the King. The Thief, like I said before, just does Mog Thrust on a few random targets, but if he gets 3 or 4 stacks of the King's buff, it can start one-shotting people. The Archer you don't want it on because of Mog Rain of Death, which we will talk about a little bit later, and the Bard will buff the King, so this will just make your tanks take less damage if you move away from the Bard. The last major mechanic of this fight is Pombe Nation. The King will occasionally tell his subjects to hold fast, Moggle's Guard, on the screen, signifying a Pombe Nation attack is about to begin. There are several different possibilities. The most deadly one in this phase is Mog Delta attack. When this is the attack of choice, the Bard, Thief, and Archer Moogles will run to different sides of the room. When they reach their sides, a triangle will appear in the middle of the room and do about 3500 to 4000 damage to anyone hit by it. It is worth noting that the Archer moves very slowly towards his side while singing Pico Paco Delta, which is a giveaway that the attack is coming. The next Pombe Nation attack is Meteor. This will simply designate some circles under everyone, where the meteors are going to land. Just move out of them. His final Pombe Nation attack for this phase is an attack that will place a crosshair on a random target in the room. After a short time, the Gladiator and Marauder will charge over to that player and cast a giant Conal attack. Again, simply move out of it. Now, unlike in hard mode, you do not want to focus off and kill a single Moogle right away. Upon the first Moogle's death, the King will revive that Moogle, bringing him back into the fight, as well as heal all of the remaining Moogle's HP. However, to do this, he uses his own HP. This is how you damage him. Get all of the Moogles as low as possible, then kill a single Moogle and make him heal them all with his own HP. This means you will never be without all 8 Moogles for the entirety of the fight, since he revives the one you killed. Now, one thing to note, be very careful about accidentally killing 2 at the same time. We've had occasions where it's triggered him to push an extra phase early, which immediately means that you've lost the fight. Just kill one and let the rest heal up. This should bring the King to about 45 to 50% if you did enough damage to the small Moogles, as well as trigger phase 2. In this phase, there are just a few new Pombe Nation attacks you have to deal with on top of the ones from phase 1. So, Mog Delta attack, the Conal attack from the tanks, and the meteors can still happen in this phase. The first one you'll have to deal with is Mog Anthem, Mog Rain of Death, and Thrown for a Loop. Now keep in mind, Mog Anthem and Mog Rain of Death always come together, but Thrown for a Loop does not always get included in this Pombe Nation attack. So I'll talk about those parts separately. This Pombe Nation attack will do several things. For one, it will cause the tank's aggro to reset on the Marauder and Gladiator occasionally, so always be prepared to get threat back on them quickly. It will also give a few Mughals around the room a determination buff, increasing their damage. This can be noticed by a Mughal stopping and singing with a bunch of stars going upwards. I believe if the Marauder or Gladiator are the ones to actually sing the Mog anthems, it can cause the enemy reset, but Thrown for a Loop kind of messes that up a little bit. So just always be prepared to get aggro back when this Pombe Nation attack is going off. The Archer Mughal will also mark 3 people for Mog Reign of Death. Now remember before when I said you don't want the Archer to have the King's buffs? This is why. Mog Reign of Death hits very, very hard, and with just 3 stacks, it can potentially one-shot people. Now another thing to note is make sure that people with marks above their heads aren't near each other, as the damage can overlap and kill them. Now sometimes, when performing this Pombe Nation attack, the Gladiator will also perform Thrown for a Loop, which taunts 3 players in the raid into attacking him right on top of a poison puddle, meaning they will additionally take some damage over time. It seems that the taunt will target the 3 nearest people as it did in the hard mode encounter. Since the Gladiator is the one casting the Pombe Nation attack, this will likely mean that one of the tanks and any 2 other members can be targeted by it. Having your healers not be the closest target to the Gladiator can help a lot with preventing them from being taunted. This taunt must be removed with Asuna or leeches as quickly as possible. The order of importance for Asuna is to Asuna any taunted healer first, then the tank, then the DPS. Now his last Pombe Nation attack is, I call it, Holy Mughal Go Round. When this one starts, the White Mage will prepare Pom Holy, which is similar to Pom Flare. It can be interrupted by just doing enough damage to the White Mage. The Marauder will also use Mughal Go Round, which deals negligible damage to everybody except for the 2 targets he will also mark with Be Moggled. These 2 targets will be selected randomly and must be Asuna'd or leeched, or they will likely be killed. Of course, throughout this phase, like I said, you have to deal with the previous Pombe Nation attacks. Again, get every Mughal as low as possible before killing one off. Upon him reviving and healing all of the Mughals, he will begin casting Pom Meteor, which deals about 3,000 to 3,500 unavoidable AoE damage to the raid. Group up in the middle and Cure 3 sucker the attack, and it shouldn't be a big deal. The tank with Moggle needs to ensure he moves before it gets to everyone else to prevent Moggle from walking up to the center of the room and destroying everyone's MP with a conal attack. Repeat phase 2 one last time. The only difference I've noticed in phase 3 is that the Bard's song range is significantly bigger, so expect to take more damage overall. Again, get every Mughal low. The king should only have about 10 to 15% HP left after he did Pom Meteor. This time, when you kill a Mughal, the king will begin casting Memento Mughal very slowly. Now if he completes casting it, it will wipe the raid. So after you kill the first Mughal, ensure you are able to kill every other Mughal as quick as possible so you can begin to damage the king before he casts his spell. So basically, kill all 7 subjects, run over and finish the king before he finishes casting. It's best to save your tier 3 single target damage limit break for this. Kill him, and you've won. Congratulations. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this guide. If you did, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV videos. Also, be sure to check out the rest of my channel for some of the other videos that I make, a bestiary series on Final Fantasy, some Let's Plays, things like that. I hope you enjoy them. Also, be sure to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, so you can get regular updates about when I'm posting videos like this one, or you can pick my brain if you have a question about fights like this, or if you just have a question in general. And of course, I do stream on Twitch. I will be getting back to streaming very soon. Just needed to get my weekend of patch 2.2 out of the way, and I should be getting back to streaming Final Fantasy XIV as well as a bunch of other games that I still need to finish playing. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Until next time, take care. I'm going to include a link here at the end of the video for a separate video of just the kill. I will be talking over the kill, just explaining what's going on. This gets heavily requested in all my videos, and a lot of people have said my videos are just generally too long. So I'll break these videos up for you guys, for those of you with different interests in the fight. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.